we are like that bachpan ka uncles for you, like, you know. Oh, you all are going for Singham again, right? Okay.
When did you know that there was potential to take the story forward? Also because that was a time when there were not many franchises, right? I mean, like this was, I mean, of course, Golmaal you had made into this event, but how did you know that Singham is something that we can tell more stories around?
Kind of love we got from Singham.
Yeah.
It gave us that confidence that now, like Golmaal, we can have an action series also.
Right.
But we never thought into a universe. It was just Singham Return was just another sequel. When we were making Simba, that time we thought, okay, let's try this, and that was the first film where this whole universe thing started happening.
Ajay, do you remember sort of going back? First of all, what was it like going back 3 years later? 4 years? No, 3 years later. 2014 was when you all did Singham Returns, right?
Yeah.
And this time you got time to prep for the character.
I think
Then it was part of your system.
Yeah, I mean, first was like a prep.
Right. When did you feel like this was a character that has the potential to sort of tell more stories?
Not really. It's just that after one released, and then the kind of response we got from the audiences, especially, I think it was very strange for the first time in my life. Also, I felt like a typical action masala film. Was liked, and the character was loved by kids and by women.
That's right, yeah.
I think that was the first time it happened that a character like this, women started liking. I think it was a character women thought that if you have a man, it should be like this.
Right.
You know, that started falling into.
You agree? The women in the room?
So I think that's where we realized that, you see, in men it would work, because it's an action film.
Yeah.
When it started working in kids and in women, that's where you knew that there's something right with the character.
Tell us a little about Simba and how the universe expanded.
Simba, obviously, when we were doing Simba, I came to him like I think let's merge into it and make a universe in our country also. Let's see. There was a risk if Simba would have not worked. Singham was coming in that film, and was Suryavanshi as well. So again, it was like a risk we took. And it worked, and then it was like in Hindi or for the Hindi audience whether they understand this thing. अच्छा Singham कैसे आ गया इसमें? अच्छा ये कौन है? But it worked for us, and then after that we all started making universe out of every genre. I think.
Singham's entry in Simba. Do you remember, guys? Yes. I mean that was pure magic. Ajay, do you remember that? I mean, do you remember sort of playing to the? That was literally playing to the gallery, right?
Yeah, I think, of course I remember that, and actually that started in one only, when in one, I think the Scorpio turns in, I get off. So that again became so significant that it had to be repeated, then it became a part of Singham's character.
I think the thing about doing it in Simba was that for a lot of people it was unexpected, right? Of course you've seen the trailer and one had a sense of it, but to just see that, to see another character such a beloved character sort of step into another film just felt magical completely. And then of course there was Suryavanshi. Rohit, how much confidence did you have that the idea of a universe, I mean, you were doing what hadn't been done certainly in Hindi or in India before. I mean, the closest example was Marvel. And what you've done with Singham Again is you've given us the Avengers. You're really giving us the Avengers. I mean, how, like you rightly said previously, everything is a risk, because if one element fails, then the whole universe sort of it could collapse. What do you go in, Ajay, what do you all go in with knowing that, what is the level of confidence, the level of conviction that you need to go in when the stakes are that high?
I think making a commercial film, conviction is the only thing which works, because other than that, everything is against you.
Yeah.
Where logic is concerned, or where a segment of audience is concerned. It's a risk which you take when you make a commercial, hardcore mass film. It's risky. And it will always be risky. But we've been fortunate enough that it has worked in our favor.
And I think it's also step by step.
Yeah.
When you take a baby step, like we did one, and then we realized there can be a two because we got this kind of response. Then after two, it was a baby step that let's do Simba and then merge Singham in it. And then, it's like, as the audience starts accepting things, you take steps. So and you reach a point.
And I think honesty is also very important in that. Like we can't just because people love the character, we can't make the same thing again.
Right.
With